So we're going to continue work making this 2008 Ford Mustang V6 a little bit better. It's more of a preventive maintenance type thing. So there's quite a few videos that I do have already. We're going to continue with this series. There should be a brake video coming up and some other videos, ins and outs here and there. So stay tuned for those. This video here is just we're going to adjust the ignition system. We're going to do the ignition coil and the spark plug wires and all the spark plugs. So let me give you a list of what we're going to do here. I'm going to put in this coil system from Standard Products. They're called the Blue Streak. This is their ignition coil. And I'll show you a little bit more once we get to the install. But they claim that this is produced better than OEM or Ford Motor Company products. They claim that the copper inside is thicker than the original equipment that came on this car. So hopefully that is true, but we're going to install this. Show you the part number real quick on this one. Here's the part number for this car. We're going to put some plug wires in, and these are made from United Motor Products here. They feature something with a perma-shield, so we'll figure out if these are good or not. And then we're going to put some platinum plugs in from Autolite. Let's see, here's the part number on this one. I didn't share the part number on this one over here. No, my bad. Let's see, where's the part number? There we go. This is the part number for this one. So we're going to put platinums in there. They're going to last a little bit longer. They come pre-gapped, but you want to check with your filler gauge to make sure that they are gapped, just in case they were in the store and they got dropped and it messes up the gap. So on this particular car, it's gapped at, and your gauge here is going to be 0.054. So double check your plugs. We're going to start with the spark plugs first, and then we'll work our way up to the wires and then to the coil. So let's get set up and get to work. Alright, so we're going to start on the passenger side here and locate our spark plug wires here, and then also note how they're kind of routed through here to keep away from the headers here. So this first one here is routed around this bracket here on top, and then it collects here with their clip. This is the factory clip. If you don't have the factory clip, you can just zip tie these together, and then it comes up and over the heater hoses on top of the valve cover, and there's another factory clip here, and then it comes over to our coils. So all you need is the standard 5/8 spark plug socket with the rubber grommet just to hold it in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull the wires out. It still has factory wires, so they're all numbered. So in my case, I can keep them kind of, you know, in order of once we replace them. I'm going to flip this all up on top of here anyway, and then we'll remove everything as a unit. Just, you know, so we don't get the wires crossed or anything like that. Just kind of keep everything in order. So we'll start just by pulling the plugs. Alright, so we got these free. This one broken. Like I said, no big deal. I'm replacing these, so I don't care. So just lay these over here for now. And then we'll go ahead and attack those spark plugs. Alright, so what I'm finding on this first plug hole, or this first spark plug, is it's really tight. I'm kind of worried about this one. I did lubricate the spark plugs, you know, to blow out any debris or whatever into it, and then just lube it up a little bit with some PB Blaster just in case. So I'm gonna go back and forth with this one and see if I can get it to break a little bit. What I'm worried about is it stripping out. So I'm going to go back and forth in a single spot. And I'm really hoping the rest are not like this. I'm going to leave that one out for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a little bit of lube back in there. And it ate my socket. So what does this guy look like? Let's see here. Actually doesn't look too bad. They are looks like they may be originals. It's got Motorcraft in there. Usually people don't put Motorcraft back in. They must have had a lot of carbon buildup, as well as these were really difficult to get off. So what I did before anything, I tried to make an attempt on this first plug, see if it was going to come out nice and easy. It kind of did not. It was real stubborn. So I squirted some PB Blaster into each one of the plug on top of one of, well, actually each plug hole. That's basically what I did with the spark plug in it, just to kind of give it some lubrication. I backed it out some, sprayed it again, backed it back in, and kind of repeated the process for a little bit, and then I was able to finally feel it give way, and I was able to spin it out. So I'm hoping the rest of them are not like this, but you know, I'm counting on them to be really difficult to get off. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this whole bank on this side, and then we'll move over to the next side. Here's plug number 2. You can see there's quite a bit of carbon. Like I said, these might be original. What do you guys think? Original? The Motorcraft got plenty of carbon on it. I'm pretty sure the gap is off as well. Anyway, what we're going to probably end up having to do, and I typically don't do this, these plugs go into an aluminum head. So anti-seize lubricant is not really necessary, but I think when we put our new ones in there, I might put a little tiny dot of it on there to prevent it sticking, as these, I don't know is because if they're original or not, or why they're so difficult to get out, but it's a struggle, and I don't want to run into the problem of stripping the threads on the head as well. So far so good. I don't see any metal chunks that's coming out with these plugs. So the PB Blaster is helping in this process, so it just seems kind of weird. I just don't think it's ever been changed. Right here, all that spotting, that's all rust. It's kind of interesting. I'm gonna have to look up the data on, or the background on this vehicle, and see where it originated. As you guys know, I'm in Texas, so nothing really rusts. We get like surface rust, you know, depending on how close you are to the coastline. But up here in central Texas, usually nothing. Usually it might be just some surface rust, and that type of thing, but nothing this crazy. So anyway, I'm not going to bore you through the whole removing of the plugs. I'm going to kind of speed the video up through this, and then of course I'm going to finish the last one here, and then we're going to go over to the driver's side. So this one's got a little bit of rust here on the tip, so I'm thinking these are original, guys. I'm very surprised these Motorcraft plugs lasted this long. There's quite a bit of mileage on this vehicle already, so before we move over to the other side, I'm going to go ahead and just install the new plugs on this side. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get our plug. I'm going to get my anti-seize. Like typically I usually don't do it with aluminum. This is stuff I use here. I typically don't, but in this case, since they're sticking pretty bad, I want them to kind of go in just in case I have to remove these once again. I probably won't be replacing these again, but you never know. So that's all I'm going to do. Just a little tiny bit on one side of the plug here. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want nothing getting inside the cylinder either. So just barely any on here. You can kind of see, just barely. I kind of rubbed it into the threads there. Just barely. So I'm hoping this prevents the sticking for the next guy, or me next time. And these, you want to start them, hand thread them first. Now these spark plugs don't have a washer, a crush washer to them, or a sealing washer, whatever you want to call them. I don't have a torquing spec on here. I know it does seat into, it seats into the head. Now, what I always do is, if there's not a torque spec on them, I make sure that they're nice and snug with a 3/8 ratchet. I don't like to use anything long handled, just your standard short ratchet like this, and just snug it up. So it's basically, you're kind of feeling the tool and what it's feeling like when it's driving into the head. So just keep in mind the heads are aluminum. Alright, I got it to the point where it's snug. So what I want to do is just to give a little bit of pressure, turning pressure on it until it's very snug, and it'll take a little bit more force to kind of drive it through. At that point I think I'm good. It's really hard to explain on video when I'm trying to relay here, but you will know from experience when too much is too much and when something's just enough, basically. So I'm going to run through the rest of these, and then we'll go on to the driver's side like I said earlier, and then we'll just speed up the video not to bore you, and then we'll just move on to the plugs, the plug wires, sorry, and the coil. Alright, so we finally wrapped up the installation of the spark plugs. I'm not going to lie, it was no joke removing those spark plugs. Just having for them being kind of really snug and tight in there, and then trying to go in a slow process not to strip out the head threads, you know. So it was kind of, I had to take my time and do it. So overall it took about 15 minutes of my time just taking out the 6 spark plugs, unfortunately. Hopefully in your case it won't take that long. It just comes out nice and smooth as it should. But as you've seen already, it looks like they were original. So there's a lot of carbon buildup and whatnot on them. So anyway, those are done out of the way. Next we're going to go over to the wires and to our coil. And I already kind of got our wires set out here. So we know for sure that 3 of the wires on the set are the shorter ones, and that's going to go on the driver's side, and then we'll sort through the passenger side here which ones to go through. Luckily, you know, this still has the Motorcraft wires on it, so they're numbered, so it kind of makes it easier in my situation. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay these over the way they should represent, basically, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the ignition coil box, and I'm going to just move it over here, and then install our new stuff here on the back side. That way we can reference real quick on here, besides, you know, taking everything apart and then forgetting where you're at. In my case, I can just go back in the video and see where, you know, where I missed it. So we'll just do it that way. I think that's the safer option. So we're going to remove the ignition coils, and it's held on by 4 bolts, and they're 7mm, okay? One thing is we got to remove the electrical clip as well. It's here on the back side. So we're just going to set it aside like this. That way we can come back and reference. So we'll go ahead and run our new lines. We'll drop the new ignition coils here, and then we'll run each line over to each side. Alright, now we can go ahead and install our new ignition coil here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and lay it in. It sits in nicely in this bracket, so it makes it fairly easy for installation. Just don't forget this guy here. This one goes here. And get some threads started real quick, and then we'll just run it down with the tool. Anyway, it looks a very nice unit. Hopefully it works out. So we'll just run these down real quick. back. Thank you. Alright, it's tight enough. You don't have to kill them. They're fine thread screws, so you will strip those. Watch like that. So don't forget to plug back your connector here in the back. Nice. Alright. So now we kind of determine which wires are going to go to where. I got on this side, let's see here. I don't know if you can see this. We got short, medium, and long. So I'm going to just lay them out here as so. And so what I'm going to do is we got our other coil here as our template. We can tell that number, what number is this? Number 4. This is 5. 5's in the middle. 4's here, and 6 is the way they got it numbered. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course they're different here as well. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is remove these plastic clips real quick. If I can get that kind of stay still, it'd be great. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the shortest one. Get our wires here. Alright, so here's our short one here, which is number 6, and it goes into this slot here. Before I do this, what I do is we want to get some dielectric grease. I use this stuff from Permatex, and we're just going to put some grease in each one of these. Alright, and as well as the one that goes into your spark plug boot. So just put a dab in there. Alright, so we know this one's number 6. So we'll go with this guy first. That one's in there. Not much of a click, but you can feel it when it lodges in. So it's just hooked on this side here. See how these come off like this. So make sure those are in. Then I'm going to go and run my line here. And so we got our organizer here. Before I do that, I'm going to put some new covers on these real quick. Some wire looms. This one was actually missing wire loom, so we can fix that real quick. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this one on the back spark plug here. Get it to reach. Alright, and then get it to snap in. There we go. Nice and easy. Alright, so we know this one comes around here on this back side. We'll just leave it loose for now. Alright, so the medium one will be number 5. Our next wire here. Same procedure on all of them, okay? Dielectric grease. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead. Number 5 is this one here. There we go. Alright, so this one's going to come around to this little one here. Alright, that one's set. If I recall, there was a little organizer clip here. And this one goes on. I'm just going to leave it loose until we get everything lined up. I want to make sure I get there on there first. I believe there's a wire loom that goes on here too. Let's see where it goes. Alright, so this is where that plastic clip went on both of these. And so we have wire loom on top. So I'll go ahead and just drop the wire loom here. And it should roll down once we're all said and done to the right spot. I guess they want to try to keep heat away from the valve cover there. So I'll just leave that one up like this. This one's good. So the next one up. Electric grease. Alright, so where are we going? Number 4. It's our last one here. There we go. Same procedure on this one. This one had some wire loom. There we go. Alright. So this one comes down, if I recall, down through this way, away from the EGR tube. Alright, right down into here. Alright, so we can find our plug. There we go. You snap it very nicely. Removing these old ones were kind of a pain as well. Let's see. Alright, so we got this organizer clip. We can turn everything here. This clip here rests on the stud here from the head cover here. There's a stud, and that's where this guy slips into. So I want to make sure I got this kind of routed the right way. So maybe what I should do is they're going to be routed like this. So it goes in this way. So this one's probably, I can get this organized. This one's on top. This one comes up and around, I believe, here. Alright, I think we're getting somewhere. Alright, let me rotate these out of the way. See if I can get this thing on the stud, and then we can reorganize exactly how those wires are going to sit nice and comfortably. Okay, so it looks like this guy. I'm going to pull a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to clip that one in. Good. Alright, move these guys back over. The next one up. Just going to slide these guys down. There we go. Maybe it's not to rub against this bracket as well, because this bracket kind of goes down here. So I can see how the wires can actually rub through this bracket, and unfortunately it's a little bit rough too. So these wire looms are going to protect the ignition wires from rubbing for sure. Okay, so now it's a matter of trying to organize the rest of these wires. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this one in the first one, maybe that one right here, and that one like so, and then clip her in. There we go. Move those around. What I want to do is just kind of keep it away from elements down here that are heat, like this exhaust tube. But I have it rewrapped anyway, but better safe than sorry. Alright, so we got this side done, and we're just going to repeat this on the other side. Alright, so switching over to the passenger side here, I already, just to save some video time here, I already connected all our new wires over to our coil. Same procedure, just different order basically. So now it's left to go and just connect these wires to the plugs here. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dielectric grease in all these boots here. go ahead and start with the back one first. And I believe they are routed right through the valve cover and these heater hoses here. I'm going to get my light and find that spark plug. There we go, finally found it. Not going to forget some wire loom on these as well because they're real close to the headers here. We'll slide this over here, just like so. Yes. Alright, so that one's good. Alright, so next, I'm going to take this wire connectors off real quick here, just to kind of help keep it organized once we move along here. Alright, so the next one's number 2. This guy here, same thing, we're going to run it down. And locate the spark plug right there. Alright, that one was easier. Alright, wire loom. Let's see if we can snake this one down. Good. Alright. And I'm going to put that one here for now just to hold it out of our way. And then our last one, finally. This one runs down. And I noticed that there's another connector here at the bottom that connects 1 and 2. So it's 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we'll run this one the same way. Up and around. Alright, locate spark plug. There we go. And click. Nice. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to move this wire loom real quick, because what I want to do is go ahead and install this guy here. This thing was apparently at one point mounted somewhere. You can tell from this piece here. I'm going to have to try to locate where that was at. It was somewhere real down low. And what I'm thinking, it might have been to this harness here that I kind of got it out of the way. So we'll probably zip tie this back onto that. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and... You probably can't see what I'm doing. I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and put this connector here. And did I get that clip in there right? No. There we go. Alright. Yeah, that clip helps. It keeps everything pretty much out of the way. Alright. So, I'm going to go ahead and tidy everything up. I'm going to try to get it all lined up where everything's nice and neat here. I think this wire's probably pulling a little bit too much. Make sure I have enough slack down here as well. Connectors there. And then install some wire loom on this one too. Cool. Snake that one down. Alright, looks like we're all protected down there. So now it's a matter of getting these things organized here. Cooking that plastic piece there. And that goes there. I believe we got it. I'm gonna double check my connections, of course. Alright. I think everything's good on this side. Now it's a matter to go start up the car and make sure that we have no misfires. And if we don't, then we're good. The other thing too is to take it for a test drive, make sure that the ignition coil is operating as it should. You know, putting a little bit more extra load on the engine helps you determine those type of things. So yeah, let's go start it up. Alright, let's go ahead and start this car up, make sure everything is good. Alright, so it looks like everything's good. I didn't feel any misfires at all whatsoever. Throttle was very responsive, so I think we'll put it into this video. I think we're good. Thanks for joining me on this one. Hopefully this video helps you out, and stay tuned to the next one.